Avocados are delicious and nutritious, but a common inconvenience is that they can ripen very quickly if not stored properly. Some become overly soft or develop dark spots inside before you even get a chance to eat them, sometimes resulting in wasteful disposal. So, how can we keep them in good condition for longer? Today, I've got some avocados ready, and we'll try out a few simple storage methods right at home. But before I begin, I want to clean them first. I'll place all the avocados in a basin of water, gently washing and cleaning the outer skin by hand. Since they will be stored for a period of time, I want to ensure they are clean from the start. Once washed, I'll take them out one by one, place them on a plate, and let them dry completely. Remember not to store them while the skin is still wet. While waiting for them to dry, let's get ready to start with the first method. Now, I'm going to take a perfectly ripe avocado and cut it in half so you can see what it looks like. It's a beautiful avocado. The flesh inside is a vibrant yellow-green. Usually, if we don't finish the whole avocado at once, we might use one half and simply toss the other half into the fridge for later. I imagine quite a few families have this same habit. The issue, however, is that once the avocado is cut, the flesh loses its protective skin and comes into direct contact with the air. If you leave it in the fridge uncovered or without proper treatment, the surface can quickly turn from that lovely green to a dark brown. The flesh can also dry out, making it much less appetizing when you eventually take it out to eat. So, if you only plan to use half, don't be in a rush to put the other half straight into the fridge. With just a few simple steps, we can minimize browning and keep the remaining half in much better condition. This is the first tip I want to try out with you in today's video. Let's see what I'm going to do with this half of the avocado. For the first tip, I will try preserving half an avocado in a very simple way, which is using a little water. I prepare a clean bowl with a tight lid and pour in a sufficient amount of water. I will place the remaining butter face down, with the cut flesh facing down. The idea of this tip is to limit the avocado meat's direct contact with the air. Because when butter has been opened, the oxidation process is one of the reasons why the surface quickly turns brown. So, when the cut side is placed face down in the water, we can see the color of the butter change more slowly over a period of time. Once the butter is in the bowl, I close the lid tightly and place it in the refrigerator. For now, I will leave it as it is and wait to see the actual results. About 3 to 5 days later, I took out the butter box to check. When I opened the lid and lifted the avocado, the first thing I noticed was that the surface still maintained a fairly fresh color and did not appear as many bruises as when the cut avocado was exposed directly to the air. This is also a simple tip, but not many people know. I hope this will be a way to help people preserve avocados more easily. For tip number 2, I'll be using a very common kitchen staple, the lemon. If you eat avocados often, but usually only use half at a time, this is a handy trick for short-term storage. I take a fresh lemon and cut it in half. For the remaining avocado half, I squeeze a small amount of lemon juice into the hollow center, the spot where the pit used to be. Instead of using a spoon or brush, I simply pick up the avocado half and gently tilt and roll it back and forth. This allows the lemon juice to flow gradually and coat the exposed flesh more evenly. You don't need to use too much. Just enough to create a thin layer on the surface is sufficient. The top edges are easily overlooked, so I use the cut lemon half to gently rub juice over the entire exposed surface area. I do this very gently to ensure even coverage without crushing the soft flesh. There's an interesting reason why lemon is often used this way. When an avocado is cut and exposed to air, oxidation causes the flesh to turn brown. Lemon juice is acidic and contains vitamin C, which helps slow down this browning reaction. So, that thin layer of lemon juice helps the avocado retain its beautiful green color for longer. Next, I get a clean Ziploc bag, place the avocado half inside, and seal it tightly. If possible, gently press out any excess air before sealing the bag. Minimizing the avocado's exposure to air helps further delay discoloration. Finally, I place the bagged avocado in the refrigerator to store it for my next use. When you are ready to eat it, simply take it out and check the surface. If it looks good, you can consume it immediately. This method is particularly convenient when you have half an avocado left over and plan to use it soon. It is simple and requires no elaborate tools. For the third method, I prepare the avocado by cutting it into small pieces before storing it. This method is quite convenient if you buy a large quantity at once or want to have it ready to use whenever needed. I choose an avocado that is perfectly ripe, cut around it with a knife, and gently twist the two halves in opposite directions. The avocado separates quite easily. I remove the pit and peel off the outer skin. Once peeled, I cut each half into two smaller sections. Then, I slice the flesh crosswise into bite-sized pieces. You can cut them thick or thin depending on your family's needs, but I prefer relatively uniform pieces like this. It looks neat and makes retrieving them later much more convenient. With the avocado prepped, I divide it into two portions. For the first portion, I arrange the pieces in a clean plastic container. I try to pack them neatly to avoid crushing or bruising the fruit. Once arranged, I seal the lid tightly. I place the remaining avocado into a Ziploc bag. Before sealing, I gently press out the air and then zip it shut. Reducing the air inside minimizes the avocado's exposure to oxygen during storage. Now I place both portions in the freezer. Freezing allows the avocado to be stored much longer than refrigeration alone. However, keep in mind that after thawing, the texture may become softer and differ from fresh avocado. Therefore, this avocado is ideal for smoothies, sauces, mashed avocado, or dishes where maintaining firm slices isn't required. So, by simply spending a little time on initial prep work, we can have conveniently portioned avocado ready in the freezer. The final method I want to try today is likely the one that sparks the most curiosity, as the key ingredient is an onion. First, I take an onion and cut it into quarters. There's no need to chop it finely for this method. A single onion wedge like this is all I need. I prepare a clean, airtight container, placing the onion wedge on one side and the avocado on the opposite side. Here's a small detail to note. I don't place the onion right up against the avocado. Instead, I leave some space between them. This prevents the avocado from coming into direct contact with the onion surface and minimizes odor absorption. Since I'm using two containers, I'll repeat the same process for both. Each container holds one avocado and one onion wedge. I arrange them neatly and seal the lids tightly. At this point, you might be wondering, why use an onion? It's a commonly shared tip for preserving avocados. When an onion is cut, it releases volatile sulfur compounds. It is believed that these compounds can help slow down the discoloration and spoilage of avocados stored in airtight containers. However, the actual effectiveness depends on factors like the avocado's ripeness, storage duration, and refrigerator temperature, so I view this as an experiment for us to try out and observe the results. Once both containers are ready, I place them in the refrigerator. One small thing to keep in mind is that onions have a strong, distinctive odor, so I always use a tightly sealed container and check the avocado for any onion smell before using it. So, with just a few common kitchen ingredients and tools, we now have various ways to preserve avocados depending on our needs, whether it's saving a leftover half or prepping a batch for long-term use. I hope that after today's video, You won't have to worry about avocados ripening too quickly or having to throw them away when you can't finish them. If you've tried any of the methods I shared, please leave a comment and let me know how they worked out for you. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a like and share it with your friends and family. Thank you for watching until the end, and I look forward to seeing you again for more interesting tips.